Hi humans and welcome back to the Unleash and Unveil community. Today I am breaking down how to create an irresistible offer that truly sells. Let's dive right in. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself an honest question. And I want you to ask yourself, how do I know without a shadow of a doubt that the thing that I'm about to create, people want it? Not only they want it, they desire it. Not only do they desire it, but they need it, and they need it now. If you don't have the answer to that question, I need you to pause. Number one, I have the solution inside of this video. And number two, I'm going to teach you all about how to conduct market research, which, by the way, it is the thing that is hurting so many brands. If we don't know what market research is, this is where you gather data. You hear from the horse's mouth. You interview people, specific people who are your ideal client for that offer, and you're understanding why they haven't done it, why they haven't made the purchase, what's actually stopping them, what are the beliefs that they're holding around that. These are the things that are absolutely imperative, not only for you to sell the offer, but for you to even be confident. Let me take a step back and introduce myself. My name is Melissa Ruiz. I'm a spiritual business mentor. I've been doing this thing online for about 4 years now. But prior to that, I was a TV producer that used to sell $1 million shows. And guess what? I used to work in the research department. And I know what it takes to walk into a boardroom with a piece of paper and say, this is the show. Here is the concept. Here is how one thing bleeds into another, and sell an overarching concept. And that's actually what we're doing online as well. Nobody actually sees your product. And so this means that your branding needs to be on point. This means that your messaging needs to be on point. And how do you get the messaging on point? You need to talk to people. If you're not talking to people, how are you creating the exact language that they're using inside of your sales page, inside of your copy, inside of your social media? You see, the number one thing that I always see people do online when they're trying to sell an offer is that they're trying to sell the offer. And here's the thing, humans, you heard it from me. People do not buy features, they buy futures, meaning they don't buy the features inside of the offer, the 15 calls, the 10 workbooks, the community. None of that actually really matters. What matters is they're investing in their future. So they need to know, are you the person that's an expert in this field? You know, I kind of want to share this really quickly here on this video because there are so many people who say that in order for you to gain a client, they need to know you, like you, and trust you. But how many people do you know, like, and trust, and you wouldn't buy a goddamn thing from them because they're not the expert? So not only do you have to create that likability, but you have to create the credibility. And the credibility comes from somebody reading the stuff that you were writing and saying, whoa, how did they know this about me? And you won't know that unless you talk to them. Here are the top 3 ways that I love to conduct market research. 1, in the DMs. 2, in a phone call. 3, in email. Let me break this down. The best way that you can do market research, meaning you're approaching an ideal client, not to sell them. You're letting them know, hey, so-and-so, I'm doing market research. This is going to help me so much create an offer that I know people really want. And I would love to ask you a few questions. In exchange, I'll give you a free meditation. Or in exchange, I'll give you a free coaching call. Whatever you feel you have, please be abundant as shit. Like, don't ask anybody to do anything for you without you coming to the table and bringing something. Okay, so that's one thing that I want to make sure that you're doing. As you do that, you want to ask them at least 10 questions about the specific offer that you're creating, and pitch it to them and tell them, this is the offer that I'm creating. I'm kind of stuck figuring out some of the things that I feel could be inside of the actual program. I want it to be beneficial for them. Let me ask you a question. What are the reasons why you haven't meditated? Tell me a little bit on if you've ever done it. Where do you feel you get stuck? Those are all of the things that as they answer, you're going to start to create those solutions in your offer. And so you see, market research is so vital and is so important, not only for any online business, but for any enterprise ever. This is the reason why there are these testing centers and people pay you $25 or a gift card to come in and test their lotion or test their products. What do you think they're doing? 1, they're compensating you for your time. And 2, they're collecting market research. 3 phases that I like to actually collect market research. 1 is at the beginning phase of creating the offer. So this is where it's not created yet. You're talking to enough people. You're letting them know, hey, if I created this, what do you think about these things that are inside of it? Do you think this would be helpful? Why or why not? You're collecting the data. You're collecting the research. 2, once they become a client, I like to always send people a midway feedback form. And I ask them midway through working with me, how are you liking it so far? What can we be doing better? What is it that is your favorite part? And then one at the end. My final feedback is me asking them, rate us from 1 to 5. And if you selected a 4, why didn't you give us a 5? See, here's the problem. The reason why people are not doing this is because you're afraid of the feedback. What if I told you it's that specific information that's going to make your business better? I now have an offer that has been around for 11 rounds and another offer that's been around for 8 rounds. The only reason why that is able to actually exist in my product suite is because I'm always asking people, how can I make this better? And you cannot be afraid. You can't be afraid of negative feedback. You can't be afraid of somebody saying something that may offend you. Try as much as you can to not take it personal, take another step back and just look at your business objectively the same way you would with your thoughts, okay? Not only is feedback important, it's a vital and crucial to your business. The other piece of market research that I like is maybe through the DMs. Maybe you've been connecting with people in the DMs. You don't maybe know them on a personal level and you send them a message and you just say, hey, I would love to collect some market research from you. Let me know if you're open to that. This is really going to help me create an offer and I'm in the creation process and I value your opinion. Can I send you 2 or 3 questions and then you can send me the answers back however you want. And the last way is through email. If you have people's email, maybe create a Jot form or a Google form, write down the questions there and then email your people. Okay, moving right along. The second thing that you need to be doing in order for you to sell out an actual offer is land the messaging. I cannot stress this enough. You need to be clear about what the hell your offer does, who it's for, and what the problem areas are. I think we have gone so far away from not wanting to talk about the pain points, which I totally get because you see high conscious buyers, they don't want to be reminded of their pain. And matter of fact, a lot of that stuff that has happened in the past, they've been able to alchemize it. However, this is not a permission slip for you not to talk about what are the problems that you're solving. I don't know if you know this, but if you're online or if you have any kind of business, you are in the customer service industry and you're also part of the solution-based industry. This means that you have to get really clear and understand what is the problem that my ideal client is having. What I do see is so many people talking about the transformation. When you go on a retreat with me, you're going to feel this. And when you take this offer, this is going to make you feel good. That's not enough. That will never, ever, ever sell anybody into the offer because there is no urgency in wanting to resolve their problem right here, right now. Just think about any reason that you make a purchase. If you purchase a sweater, it's because you probably like it, or maybe because you're cold, maybe you need new fashion. Like these are all things that you are making a specific transaction in the now moment in hopes that it's going to resolve something for you. And so this is the reason why as you create your offer, in order to make it irresistible, you have to make sure that people need it. It cannot just be this fluffy type of words and it's for everybody. Listen, in business, we say that when you speak to everybody, you speak to nobody because ultimately your offer is for a specific person. If you're confused about who that specific person is, just ask yourself, who do I like to work with? This is what I call energetically qualifying somebody. Who do I like to work with? How do they show up? What is their personality like? Where are they now? Usually 2 or 3 steps behind where it used to be because we usually are very motivated to help people where we feel related to them. We feel like, damn it, I relate to you. Like I remember when I was just there, right? So ask yourself, where were you just? And how does your product help that person resolve that problem? Whether it's that they're disconnected from themselves, whether it's that they want to be in their body, whether it's that they want to believe in themselves and start a business, whether it's that they want to alchemize their money stories, please be as specific as possible. And this is part of your messaging. The last thing is your branding. Your branding sells, period. Remember how I told you, nobody actually even knows what the hell your product is. Nobody actually sees the back end of it. So this means that the branding and the messaging need to be really strong. And your branding, it goes beyond just like the colors and the fonts that you're using. This is your energetic blueprint. I want you to ask yourself, what are the stories that you tell on rotation about your business? Every brand should have at least 3 stories that they tell. This is the origin of your business. I'll give you a perfect example. One of the stories that I tell is the fact that I started my business in the worst conditions ever. I flew to Morocco. I ended up getting fired. I lived in a tiny home, and that's how I started my business. It wasn't when the conditions were perfect. It was now. It was in that very now moment where I had to figure things out. And that's a big part of my story. And I tell that story even 4 years later. Still, it is part of my brand essence. Another part of my story is the fact that I identify as LGBTQ, and I also vouch for a lot of women of color. And I believe that wealth is not just a paper inside of the bank account, but it's truly a feeling that you activate from within your body. You have to touch the jewels within yourself. You have to feel soul rich, literally, from the inside out in order for you to actually start to manifest the physical part of the green paper money. And so this is a story that I constantly tell people because it's who I am. It's what I stand for. And it's a big part of the identity of my business. So take a moment and figure out, what are your brand stories? Who are you? Where have you been? Where are you now? What's the road that you've traveled? And how do you constantly tell people that story? Because let's just face it, we are so motivated by people's stories and where they've been. All right, humans, this has been absolutely amazing. I hope that you have now all of the tools that you need to go ahead and do market research to really get clear on the problems that your ideal client is having so that you can really nail that messaging. And 3, create that brand identity, the essence and the story of who you are and how you actually got to where you are now. Humans, if you are in your leadership season, this means you are not playing, you are stepping forward, allowing yourself to be seen, but you want to be held in community. Check out the Cosmic Genius Collective. This is my signature 12-month program that comes with a retreat. I would love to work with you on a personal one-to-one basis, and I cannot wait to see you inside of that program. I'm going to link the link below, and I will see you soon. Go with peace. Go with God.